Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We got two important pieces of news. One is that President of Turkey, Erdogan, met the President of the Russian Federation, Putin, but Putin brought at the meeting in his team Mr. Kadyrov. Ramzan Kadyrov, right? Is that's the guy, the leader of Chechnya, the Chechen warlord, as he's called in the Western mass media. Now let's see what came out of the meeting. So the first one right here is coming from Ukrainska Pravda from August 5, 2022. Putin brings Kadyrov to his meeting with Erdogan. The war in Ukraine is on the agenda. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, is meeting with Erdogan, the president of Turkey, on August 5, today, in the Russian city of Sochi. Ramzan Kadyrov, the head of the Chechen Republic, has also arrived as a member of the Russian delegation. So both sides have already arrived at the Black Sea resort. The main topics on the agenda are expected to be ending the war in Ukraine and the prospect for a Turkish offensive in Syria. The face-to-face meeting between Erdogan and Putin is planned to begin at 3 o'clock p.m. After that, talks between the delegations will take place. Putin and Erdogan press conference was reportedly cancelled due to the Turkish leader's schedule, but Russian organizers got the meeting room ready anyway in case the presidents change their minds. Nope. So let's see what do we have here in the other one. Also, they want to discuss military technical cooperation, and this is the other article that comes from Reuters, the same date, August 5th, 2022. And the title is Putin and Erdogan agree to boost cooperation, some ruble payments for gas. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan agreed on Friday to boost cooperation in transport, agriculture, finance and construction industries. They said in a joint statement after a 4-hour meeting. They beat what's his name, Biden. He supposedly spoke with Xi Jinping 2 hours and 18 minutes or something like that. Turkey mediated a deal signed by Ukraine, Russia and the United Nations in Istanbul last month, under which grain exports from Ukraine's Black Sea ports resumed after months of being blocked. In the statement, Putin and Erdogan stressed the need for, quote-unquote, the full implementation of the Istanbul Agreement, including the unimpaired exports of Russia's grain. You see, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for these words. Russian grain. I will tell you, fertilizer and raw materials for their production. When the Russians, when it was about allowing, let's put it this way, or signing some document facilitating the Ukrainian transport of grains out of Odessa and other southern Ukrainian ports, the Russians said, we will agree only under one condition at least. And that condition is the sanctions on our grain should be lifted. So if you guys want to have the Ukrainian grain delivered to the hungry masses of this planet that you care so much about, because that's how they were crying that Russia is starving the world. They said, yeah, well, if that's the case, then you should allow us to. If not, we're not going to agree to anything. Okay, so they met in Istanbul. They signed the papers, blah, blah, blah. And the day the paper was signed, The Ukrainians came and said, we did this, we did this, we did, and we with United Nations did this. We didn't do anything with Russia, and Russia did not get anything in return. And I was like, that's a lie. Who would do that? Only a, how should I put it, a side that has nothing to gain or has lost the war, or what's going on here. And I knew that was impossible. That was a lie. But I saw in an article, and I failed to save it and to discuss it, where they said, well, we got this implemented, the free grain of our grain, the Russian grain. And I was like, oh, that's a good one, but I passed it. And now I see it again right here, and I'm glad I mentioned it, because this shows me again those liars. And I have those articles when the Ukrainians were stating the Russians did not get anything in return. No, nothing. I said, that's impossible. It's a lie. So, and this is from Reuters. So in the statement, Putin and Erdogan stressed the need for the full implementation of the Istanbul Agreement, including the unimpaired export of Russia's grain, fertilizer and raw materials for their production. The two leaders also agreed to switch part of the payments for Russian gas to rubles, all right, bypassing the petrodollar and euro. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak told reporters after the talks. The two also, I'm quoting, reaffirmed their determination to act in coordination and solidarity in the fight against all terrorist organizations. Do you know what? In Syria. All right, so no terrorist organizations in Syria. That means if there are any, the Turkish side military will take care of it by coming over. Now, my question is, Russia and Turkey discuss Syria? What about the Syrians? Did anybody ask the Syrians? Because I'm assuming here Turkey will receive Russians' blessing to strike Syria, but without asking Syria. But probably Syria already agreed with that, because Syria will never challenge Putin anytime soon, since without Putin, Assad would have been gone, regime change for a long time now. Now the thing is, since we have American troops over there extracting Syrian oil and giving it to us here, then I guess that having another country over there among others that are over there uninvited will not upset Syria too much. And since Israel, the Jewish state hits whatever targets it wants in Syria, remember, an independent and a country that can be, that's a sovereign country, like Ukraine, independent, sovereign. It's hit by the Jewish state and has illegal forces from other countries on its territory. That's an invasion, that's illegal, but nevertheless, because those are the forces of good, they should be allowed to do anything they want. If they want to take your house, if they want to rape you you know what I mean? It's just so unbelievable. So, the two have reaffirmed the determination to fight terrorism, whatever, in Syria. Ankara has carried out multiple operations in northern Syria since 2016, seizing hundreds of kilometers of land and targeting the Kurdish YPG militia, despite opposition from Moscow. Well, they said they will do this anyway, even if the United States said, hey, you're gonna hit us. Erdogan said, well, pack your things out and let us be the peacekeepers over there. Well, we'll see. They can see how much they can implement, because Erdogan is playing with everybody. Whatever his open opportunity, or how his free opportunity employer, or whatever. He's whatever. Who gives me something, I take it. It doesn't matter if that's an old foe or a new friend or an old friend or no friend, or doesn't matter, man. It's good for me, I'll take it. Which is good. It's an opportunistic country, and its position, its location geographical location saves him and helps him play like this. And it seems like he's doing the right thing for his country. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.